Hi everyone, welcome to the Incube 2019 final event. I'm super excited to have you all here. A special welcome to our jury members. Also a dedicated welcome to all of our CUBE sponsors, meaning Axpo, Huawei, Hilti, and PMI Science. And of course, welcome to our Cubies. All right, so Incube is a global challenge. It's a global event, and as most of you might know, we also had a Cube running in Singapore, right? And so we don't leave them just alone, right? The Singapore Cubies are actually live with us. So we have this event here is live streamed to Singapore, and they're also on a Skype call with us. So let's just say them hi. Hi, everyone. All right. They're watching us at least, right? Okay, so this is Manuel, the president of the Entrepreneur Club.
And this is Arno, the VP of Incube. So first of all, I would really talk shortly about the ETH Entrepreneur Club. The ETH Entrepreneur Club is a student association, and our goal is to empower the next generation of entrepreneurs and to inspire the next generation of students. We are founded in 2011, and we have currently a committee of around 50 students. Over the years, we have developed and created a social media community that has now reached up to 16,000 followers. So during the semester, we organized several events, and we have the following goals. First of all, we want to inspire the students. And for example, we do this by organizing the Fuck Up Nights, where experts share their past failures with us, and they explain how it enabled them to further succeed in their careers. Then we also want to educate the students. For example, at the event From Science to Startup, where we explain researchers to get from a research project to a startup. And then, last but not least, we also want to accelerate the project and the ideas of students. For example, here we organized the EASY Award, where you can apply with a simple idea, and eventually you win funding money. So, an event that is coming up soon is the Startups Speed Dating. It's an event where students and startups are brought together, they are matched, and through speed dates, they get to know each other. And eventually, the students start working at the startup, or even they become a co-founder. So, besides organizing several events during the semester, we also run a co-working space at Stampfenbachplatz. Currently, we have 31 startups working there, and we offer them working spaces, seminar rooms, and of course, also a maker space and some free coffee. And really, our philosophy is, if you're able to dream it, then you actually also should do it.
Thanks, Manuel. Okay, so let's talk about Incube. That's why you guys are all here, right? Incube is actually a project which basically incarnates this dream it, do it attitude, and also our mission. We want to inspire, educate, and accelerate. And we're realizing this through our student journey. So our applicants, or Incube, starts basically with the application. So students apply to our event, and we select them. Afterwards, they get a starter cube, we go to Outcube, to the launch we had last week, and now we're right here at the final, and who knows what's going to be next for these amazing teams over there. Let's talk about these steps in detail. So for this year's edition, we had about 250 applications, and we had 4 teams. That's why we're having 4 cube sponsors, right? Meaning, in each cube, we put 5 members, so we have a total of 20 selected participants. Or in other words, this means an acceptance rate of 8%. These students come from very prestigious places around the globe. So some of them, or all of them, are from ETH. Some of them are from ETH Zurich. There's Singapore University of Technology and Design, MIT, Université de Lausanne, EPFL, National University of Singapore, and also Universität HSG St. Gallen. Then the first step, or basically the introduction to for the selected participants to our student journey, are the starter cubes. So the selected students, they get basically a box with some goodies and also a hitchhiker's guide to not panic, which basically introduces them to the most important concepts of Incube and also tells them what they have to expect. In the second step, and this is actually crucial for the entire student journey, we give them workshops, and we brand this with Outcube. So Outcube is a workshop weekend which takes place in Grand Montana and is also supported by the local Association de Communes right there, and more specifically the economic promotion. So it's not only about the nice scenery there, no. So we fly in all the students, so also the students from Singapore, from MIT, so everyone comes to Switzerland, to Grand Montana, and on this workshop weekend, it happened 1.5 weeks ago, basically, we do 2 crucial things. First thing is social, networking or team building, more specifically. So these students, they lived in the glass cubes for 4 days, right? And so, it's normal that some tensions will come up, and, we should build the right team, select the right students so that we can figure out which one belongs in which team. So that's the crucial part. That's one crucial part, or part number 1. The second important part in Outcube are the workshops. So a main component of the Incube process is design thinking. So we give them, to all the participants and also the facilitators, we give them workshops about design thinking, lean canvas, and all the other tools which are required over the 4 days in the cube. Then, this happened last Thursday, so basically more or less 96 hours ago. is the kickoff. So this kickoff obviously happened simultaneously in Singapore and as well in Zurich. So this here is a picture of the kickoff in Zurich. And here, so for the students in Zurich, they did not know their teams before, right? For the Singapore, it was a bit different, right? Because there was only one cube in Singapore. And we announced them to which team they belong and which challenge they will have to solve. So all cubies globally, they don't know the challenge before the kickoff of the event.
So actually, sorry.
Yeah, all right.
So actually, Arno was talking a lot about Incube, but what about just asking the participants how they experienced the whole event? So please, all the participants come up here on stage, and we have some questions for you.
All right. Okay, so we'll just ask a bunch of questions to you guys. So, for example, Manuel, what's your most exciting experience over these 4 days, and how did you like it in general? You can take it over.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. I really enjoyed it, and it was kind of strange feeling living in a glass cube for 4 days, but it's all about the people. Not only in the cube, but also like my team, the others, and that was definitely the best part of it.
All right, the next question goes to Noah. So Noah, what was the most inspirational moment for you during those 4 days?
Let's see, so our team had a lot of ups and downs. Me in particular, I'm extremely ADD, and it's really hard for me to be in a closed space for a lot of time. But I think one of the most inspiring things was last night we were sitting together, and it was about 4 in the morning. Our pitch wasn't done. JP was coming at 11 a.m. We had the prototype. Like, there's a lot of things left to do. And just like the people on the team who were like, no, like, we're going to sit down and get this done because the project meant that much to us. The sponsors meant that much to us. And I was just really inspired by the group of people that I had working with me, but also all the other QBs who helped us make it from MIT out to Zurich.
Wow, thank you very much.
Okay, Tom. So, what would you qualify as your most awkward moment in the cube?
I have to think about it. Well, can you help me, Grace?
There are so many moments.
I mean, with all this team, we have lots of awkward moments because you know, 5 people in a cube during 4 days. It's a real human experience. And but don't share. By now, but I have lots, but it's private, confidential.
All right, it's okay. Let's keep it that way.
All right, so we do not want to know more details, so please take a seat again.
Thank you, guys.
And we also have a question, certainly also for the Singapore Cube. So the last question goes to Jonita, and that's what she was saying at Singapore.
Most funniest moment, which keeps in your mind when you leave this cube?
I guess the funniest moment for me would be when we were talking so happily together during our breaks, when we took away food from the food court just next door, and we just sat around like tables nearby, and then we talked about everything and anything that we could. I thought that was like the funniest moment that we had.
Amazing.
All right, thanks, Jonita.
So actually now the cubies worked really hard on those challenges, and they delivered really interesting projects. And tonight at the final, we also want to pick a winner. And we do this by the following grading scheme. So actually, the pitches were recorded prior to this event because we want to ensure that every team is treated the same way. So they have been assessed by these jury members, but do not really worry, because those people present here tonight, they will also pitch live and you will enjoy those pitches. And furthermore, we also have the posters, and you will be able to enjoy those posters during the apéro session. Last but not least, we also have the Q&A sessions. So all the teams are going to pitch their ideas, and afterwards, in about 3 minutes, the jury members will have the possibility to ask them questions, and according to those answers, they will get a certain rating. This will be evaluated by us in the back office, and then we will announce the winners. So now I want to give the opportunity to the jury members to shortly introduce themselves. Please, a round of applause.
Okay, so the first jury member will be Desiree.
Hello, everybody.
Mr. Denegel.
Where is it?
Yep, here. Wait 2 seconds and it should be fine.
Hello, yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Desiree Heutschi. I'm the CEO of the Swiss Startup Factory here in Switzerland, the #1 venture builder in Switzerland.
Good evening, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Nina Reinhardt. I'm an angel investor, a technology early stage investor. I'm also on the board of the Swiss ICT Investor Clubs, where people like yourselves come to look for 300 angels to finance their venture between 200,000 and 1.5 million. So hopefully we see each other again.
Hi, my name is Anil Sethi. I'm the entrepreneur in residence in the chair of entrepreneurship here. It's a pleasure to be here. I've started 3 companies, sold 1, and I'm on the board of a number of companies.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elmar Arto, and I work as Vice President Digitalization for the Comet Group. And for me, it's like coming home here at ETH. I studied robotics engineering here, and the past almost 20 years, I've driven digital transformations within organizations and making innovations come true. And I wish that also for you. And I've seen a good spirit, and I can feel that its best thing is working together, and please continue.
Thank you very much. My name is Jan von Brocke. I'm a professor of information systems with the University of Liechtenstein, and I'm Hilti Endowed Chair for Business Process Management. I'm very excited to be here and can't wait to get to know more about the pitches and engage in the Q&A, and congratulations for coming so far, and this is certainly a great experience you have had. All right, thank you.
Hello, my name is Jochen Schneider. I'm working for 7 years as an independent IT consultant. Before I was CIO in different banks in Switzerland, running large IT organizations.
Hey, my name is Sandro Cornella. I run my own company. I'm also an early stage investor, and on the side work as an expert for InnoSwiss. And having heard the pitches, it may be relevant, was particularly relevant to me because my company is in data analytics for healthcare, particularly mental health.
All right. Good. Okay. Thank you so much to our jury. Okay, so now we're going to proceed in the following manner. So we go through the 4 teams, through their pitches. We will always proceed the following way. So first of all, a sponsor representative will give a short introduction to the challenge. Then we will ask to come the QBs, or the ones who are doing the pitch of the corresponding team, on stage. You will do your pitch. Afterwards, the jury, so please make sure that you come all with them, because the jury will ask you then questions, right? And so you should be all available to get these questions. And so we will proceed the same way for all the four teams. And so let's start directly with Oxbow, right? So we'll quickly, yep, that's your talk.
All right, do I get a mic or do I go without it?
You certainly get a mic.
Sorry for that.
Thank you very much. So it says on the slide already, hello. We are from Oxbow. We were asked to shortly introduce ourselves, but more importantly, introduce our challenge to the students. Who are we actually? I mean, for the Swiss people, the name Oxbow might ring a bell, but as we quite have an international crowd, I would like to give you a short overview of what we do. We are basically an integrated utility along the whole value chain. We produce electricity with hydro, nuclear, biomass, photovoltaics, wind. We operate a grid. We have trading and sales on all international, especially European markets. We have different customer solutions, smart energy and IT solutions, as well as electrical installations. This just as a short overview to put the challenge a bit into context. What most of you might not know, that we are not a solely Swiss company. We are based in Switzerland, but we have been active in whole Europe, and since 2016 also in US, especially with our trading activities. But more interestingly is the question, especially today in front of this crowd, not who we are, but who do we want to be? What is our ambition for the future? How do we want to present ourselves in the future of energy? We know that it's a fast and developing market, and how are we going to adapt to these new challenges? I mean, old business models are jeopardy, and we have to turn these challenges into opportunities for ourselves. So what we would like to still be is the backbone of the Swiss electricity supply. That's our core, where we come from, basically. And then the more areas where we want to grow is, for once, developing renewables in Europe. It's not that we want to own all the assets, but we want to plan and build them, and we want to operate them and focus on our core strength. The second growth pillar is international trading and customer solutions. There we want to use our synergies to market these renewables we build. And then, now the bridge comes to our challenge. The fourth point is shaping the future through innovation. And that's where we need smart minds to help us on this way to find new ideas to change the future. And then we ask ourselves, what can we do as Oxbow, or what can we do as a society as well, to shape our future together? And that's how we came up with our short challenge, and we'll show you a video that we also showed the students when we first met them. Okay, you just saw it. So the question, the challenge we had for our students, so it's the team with the black shirts, was how can we stop wasting energy in cities? It was quite broad, but we wanted to give their creativity all the space they need. And before they start their presentation, I would like to thank you guys, the team that we had this week, and it was amazing to work with you. And we are very much excited and looking forward to see the final result of your work for the last days.
Thank you very much. Okay, so Team Oxbow, please come on stage, or at least the person who is going to do the pitch. All right, so can we get their presentation ready? You can start, whenever you want.
The smell of pastries reminds me of trips with my family to our local apple farm. Looking up into the trees, reaching for the sunlit apples, hearing the snap of the branch as I take the apple down. When I finish baking my apple pie, I know the journey of the apple. I can taste it and I can feel it in my fingertips. Every day we bring products into our homes. But do you remember when the last time it was that you actually knew where your product came from? Today we don't really know how a product gets to where it is, how it gets inside of our houses. Items are produced with different amount of energy waste. And when shoppers are deciding between two of similar products, it's hard for them to tell, is there a more energy conscious decision that they can make? Every purchasing decision is an opportunity to save energy, and we can be saving energy at all of these moments. That's why we came up with a solution that uses the relatively simple barcode that's already on all of our products. How can we track the energy footprint?
By leveraging data from already existing resources, we provide an indicator of products' energy inefficiencies, and we do it in your preferred commerce platform. And from there onward, you can explore the chain of events that span items' productivity life and the energy wasted at each point of that product's journey. We want to empower people to make their own choice. We don't just want to give them a label and put it on a product. We want to focus on giving really detailed information for each of that product. Unlike a label, we also don't need to necessarily partner with grocery stores or to get the permission from them, because we can provide our solution to each and everyone. How do we do that? We will create an app that you can use when you go to a store, and you can therefore scan that barcode on each of the products. So just imagine walking into the grocery store, and you see there a bottle of milk. However, you have no idea what's the energy efficiency of that bottle of milk. So in that moment, you take out your phone. It's a bit hard with the microphone right now, but you take out the phone and you scan the barcode. And in that moment, we identify the product, which would be milk, and we can, from that on, start. We open the app, we click on it, and we get our product. We can then see the energy score of that product, and if we want to, we can also see additional information, especially about the supply chain. So each person can identify exactly where energy is wasted. Furthermore, you have to confirm in the end whether you bought it or not, because then we can provide you a personal score. And that personal score is visualized by an environment that is animated and changes according to you. We also have statistical data, furthermore, additional insights, and we show you your further purchases and the history. And we want to further incentivize you by adding a community feature, so you can compare your scores with friends. And you can challenge them and discover also interesting insights from them. And in the end, we also add the feature of giving a tip of the day. Each day you get a tip on how to save energy. But you don't only shop in a store physically. People also shop online. Therefore, we have a browser extension that gives you the exact same experience that you have in the grocery store, also online. We add a layer on top of a website that gives you a fast overview of how energy efficient that product is. And if you want to, you can also get the same additional information as in the app.
This is looking great, but how do we make sure that you, our user, get to know us? In an event like us, in an event like this, conferences, university events, this is our first marketing channel, but it's not enough. We want also to be visible online. We want to be on social media and create our own community. This community will also be joined by people that have interest in environmental matters. The time is now. We can provide them with all the information they need to make conscious choices, and in them we can find the perfect user for our application. Later on, as we were showing before, we will also have a gamification
Guys, time is over.
So actually, the 5 minutes are over. Thank you very much. And now we want to give the jury members the opportunity
You have to
ask
stay here.
questions.
You have to stay here for the questions still.
Thank you.
Okay, so jury members, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I was told a short question. I was wondering where the data source is coming from. So you're saying that you leverage the existing data sources. So could you please elaborate?
We researched into that a lot, and we also talked to a lot of researchers who have been working on this particular issue for a while. There are a good number of data sources currently available online, and if you look at this website, it's a list of all the data sources. There are about 50 or 60 sets of data sources, very localized to different countries, places, and products.
Who do you think would invest and pay for the development of your apps and of your data mining?
So we identified these key partners. First of all, grants that are related to environment, accelerator, and strategic investor. And furthermore, we want to create up to the journey to 1 million users, this kind of revenues in ads and commission. And you can see the calculation below.
On the bottom.
Thank you. Have you thought about improving usability? Is it an effort to scan every item you'd like to purchase?
That's absolutely just the first step that we have with that app here. We thought about an artificial reality option as well. So you go into a store, look at all the products, and you see immediately an overview of where energy efficient products are. We also thought about some other ideas. For example, tracking automatically some of the energy expenses, but yeah, that would be the next steps.
As I understand, you get the money from your affiliate partners, and so where do you see the biggest obstacles in having these micro-billing services up and running?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Actually, here is another one.
Yeah.
Can take it.
Okay. You get the money from your partners, as I understand, because you get referrals to their products that are most energy efficient. And so basically, you have to get your money also for that advice. And as I understand, it's a provision or affiliate program type. And that's, so you have a lot of stores and a lot of interacting partners. So my question is, did you also think about how you could do this billing with all your different partners? Like the feasibility.
I mean, in the end, we would have to approach them, but I think, or we think that we have a relatively good model for them, because the companies, for example, grocery stores, could really benefit from that. The users or the customers would have a benefit from it, so it would also be a benefit for them. Or if we have, for example, a product which is especially energy efficient, then it's good, like if we advertise it, because through our app, it's going to be better in a sense.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please take a seat. So actually, the next challenge is crafted by PMI Science. And Sean, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. Put the video first.
Yep. Change screen.
Okay, so hello everyone. Everyone, or many people know about PMI, not many people know about PMI Science, so I decided to put a video to illustrate to you what we do.
Scientific substantiation is fundamental. I think we are producing the best science you can produce in this field today.
Okay, thank you. I will start by thanking everyone. So thanking the organizers for having contacted us and having worked so hard before and during the organization. So really, it was a great collaboration. And to the 5 students of the Cube we sponsored, it was really, really great to see them evolving from a very broad topic to a very interesting pitch that we're going to see in 1 minute. And so just a bit more about us. We are located mainly in Neuchâtel, in Switzerland. And what is very unique about us is that we're one of the few companies that have in the same site to see the factory, the R&D facilities, and product research. So we have everything based in Switzerland, in Neuchâtel. And you also have some part of our science done in Singapore. So what happens is that today we invested, I think, over the last 10 years, several billions dollars to try to see if you can, to what point you can develop and assess products that are less harmful to our consumers. And we hired over 100 scientists and engineers. You see a lot of people work in that building and developing several patents worldwide. And there is more about us in our website, pmiscience.com. And so our challenge is what? It's like, you imagine 400 people, 400 researchers, and this is what I told them in the beginning, right? To have 400 researchers working in the same building, doing product development and doing basic research. How do you understand what the consumers really need? So how can these people understand really what the consumers want in the end so that we can incorporate these needs into our products? And not only what their current needs, right? Because I think there's a famous sentence by Ford, right? It was mentioned by the students that if you asked people in that moment what they needed, they would say faster horses, right? Nobody would have said a car. So we need to try to anticipate what could be the future needs that the consumers have. So the challenge we raised was that in this age of open innovation, because we collaborate a lot with universities and other startups around the globe, how can we have researchers, how can we help researchers to anticipate these needs and to guide the new research and product development? So that was the basic question. It was very broad, and I think I was very happy to see that the students took it to a completely, let's say, they were focusing down every day. Every day I came to the Cube, they were really showing a more focused question, and I'm very glad they redeveloped. It was completely not anticipated they would go to that direction. So I'm very looking forward to looking to the final pitch. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. May I please the team to present? Who's going to start? All right. Good luck.
It was my first year at MIT, and I got a concussion. Because of this, I felt completely behind in school, and I felt alone, isolated, and scared. I tried to go to my peers, but it seemed like they were totally fine, so my only resort was professional counseling. So I end up in the waiting room, and I look around me, and I'm suffocated by the nervousness. I feel like I'm drowning with every breath I take, so I decide to leave. And I did not get the help that I needed.
Agnes is not the only one. 75% of the students in the US feel anxiety during their studies, but only 1/3 of them get treatment. Mentana is here to help students. It's an app that connects students to their university in order to manage mental health. The first step in doing so is by gathering more valuable and meaningful data about mental health. This data can be used to research mental health and to help students to self-improve. Our app will also provide a much easier way to access counseling. So, how do we do it? One of our main features is AI-powered visual questioning. Visual questioning was inspired by modern psychiatric methods. Because nowadays, if you go to a psychiatrist, he will not ask you, do you rate your depression on a scale from 1 to 10? He will ask you to take some figures and arrange it on a table to show the relationship to you. And we implement the same method in our app. So the user can drag and drop different components onto a canvas, and our AI system will then recognize it and assess the student by measuring the distance, interference, and relative size of the components. So for example, in this slide, it's clearly seen that the student is blocked by his studies to connect to free time, for example. And his friends, they seem to be really big, but they are also really far away. This could be because he's isolated. And of course, one question is not going to help to access a student 100%. But if we ask multiple questions, our system will start to get to notice patterns in the user behavior. And these patterns can be used to provide useful and personalized tips on self-improvement. Our app will also make it much easier for the student to book an appointment. You can do it directly in-app. And our app will also advise you if you should take appointments or not. The last point is that we provide useful analytics for universities, and they can improve their program on mental health and know how to treat it much better.
Mentana has the chance to revolutionize a 20 billion market, because currently we have there's $100 spent on average per student on mental health. We have 200 million of them in the world. But before we conquer the world, we focus on the US. Because we have 20 million students in the US, we have a lot of private institutions there, and we have a huge awareness for the topic of mental health. Currently, we are in contact with MIT, and we would like to provide the 12,000 students there with our pilot version of the app. We offer a software as a service solution to the universities, such as MIT. The university pays, distributes, and provides their users, the student, our app. The university is incentivized to buy our app because we make them more efficient. We're not replacing their therapists, but we are enabling them. We make, therefore, the student satisfaction higher and also increase research output because they have access to our huge data set. The journey started already. As said, we are currently in contact. We will refine the app so that we can launch it to the whole Boston University ecosystem, such as Harvard, MIT, and others. After that, we're launching the app in the whole US, and we're launching also to Europe.
At Mentana, we are revolutionizing mental health care. If I had had Mentana when I first started MIT, I would have gotten the help that I needed. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Can I have one microphone for the chair members? Who wants to ask the first question? All right.
Thank you. It's often very hard to reach at-risk individuals at an early time. So what are your thoughts on how are you going to reach these people that are at risk to actually use your solution?
So right now, when you're a student, you get emails from the university about mental health, and you can take assessments. Some universities even force the students to take a minor assessment during their studies. The difference is you can just rate yourself, your stress level from 1 to 10. And our solution, like the university, would do the same, just using our new questionnaire.
Thank you and congratulations, but why not do more? I see it's really focused on this interaction. Why not take body data, for instance, and develop personal digital assistants, for instance?
What exactly do you mean by personal digital assistants?
Well, you know, there's so much research on, and it's so ready available. We have all, taking body data through Fitbits or other devices, and you could infer on stress levels, and you could really actually, also the subconscious, way before you get aware of any stress, and be able to picture this in your little interaction.
So from wearable devices.
Just one from the top of my head, one example, but why not do more?
Yeah. So eventually that is something that we were thinking about, but for now we wanted to start with a more simple and probably accessible model because it seemed very complicated, but that actually was exactly an idea that we explored.
And may I add a point? It's actually super hard to get the APIs of these wearables, since it's only used for research and not used for commercial brands such we are.
I lived many years in the US, and every time I called the health phone line, they would send me automatically to a doctor because they were afraid that if they don't send me, I'm going to sue them. So that makes me believe that probably the students will be going very often to see a therapist, and they'll end up paying for it also. So how have you thought about this issue about liability and who's covering the costs?
Liability is a huge topic for us. However, we see our function also in like a sales funnel for therapists, so that our app also provides alternatives to normal sessions, one-to-one sessions, so that people and patients also could get treated differently.
More question? Yep.
So are you going to be paid by the therapists? Are you going to be paid by the therapists? Paid.
I didn't understand it.
Where's your money coming from? Where's your revenue? From the therapists?
From the universities.
But also partly from the therapists. So we were thinking about there would be multiple routes for the money to come in, and one of them would be originally the university when they purchase the service, but then every time that there's a therapist visit from it, it would come from the therapist.
Thank you very much. Please take a seat. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Okay. So, let's take a short break. We will talk about the facilitators. So, the facilitators are a crucial component in the Incube process. In each cube, we have a facilitator, so a person who is guiding the 5 cubies through their student journey. So 3 of these facilitators are here. We have 4 in total. So for those who are here, please come on stage. Woo! All right, so they all did a fantastic job. It's a very intense job, I would say. Also to notice is that all the facilitators were cubies in the previous years. So we tried to leverage their knowledge to make this as sustainable as possible. And the same way we did just ask questions to the cubies right before, we're going to do the same with you guys. So each of one will get a question, and you could just feel free to answer, right? So Sam, what is your most exciting moment over these 4 days as a facilitator?
My most exciting moment. I had a lot of exciting moments. I would have to say it had to have been Saturday night, actually. After we handed in our last prototypes for the day, I said, okay, we can kind of go to bed. We're all tired. Half of us are already asleep. And I think Nico actually said, guys, I want to keep working. And that's when I realized that's the exact point when I realized that it changed from a competition to passion. That they actually really cared about the product and they wanted to do really well. I think that was the most exciting to me as a facilitator, because I was like, wait, I don't need to ask them to do the work. They really want to do it and have it go.
Wow, amazing.
Thank you, Sam.
So actually, the next question goes to Ralph. So during those 4 days you have experienced the Incube, what will be the most memorable moment that you've had?
I mean, I'm not gonna tell that story. I think it's difficult to say about a moment. Actually, it was about this whole journey. I mean, I was a participant myself last year, and what I experienced is there are people from so many different backgrounds with so different passions, and it's very difficult that everyone is aligned for one mission. And so I'm very proud of my team, because I mean, I can tell you it was tough sometimes. It was more than 30 degrees in this cube, and they just slept like not more than 4 hours every night, but I mean, they really persistently pursued like their mission. And I mean, actually the slogan of Axpo is full of energy, and I think the team really lived that slogan.
Thank you very much. So, Gianmarco, you have been at Schiffbau. What was for you the most challenging or the toughest moment during those 4 days?
Like personally, or what I think for the cube?
let's take it personal.
Let's take it personal. I feel like as a ex-QB, I like knew how much like it means to yourself, and I really felt with all my students or my QBs or whatever you want to call them. So it was really hard for me to not influence too much with like what I thought was good, because I really just wanted to like let them implement their idea. And if I sometimes didn't 100% agree, I tried to hide that. But then again, in the end, like I do 100% agree because they did great work.
All right, thank you very much. Please take a seat. We certainly do not want to forget Christos. He is in Singapore, and we also posed a question to him as well.
So what was the most emotional part for you?
I think the most emotional part was in the beginning, the first day, when we had the team building, when all of them actually, they really opened up themselves, they were really honest to each other. They set some good rules, which were also the basis for their prosperous work in the next 4 days. And I really like when Janita, she turned around to everyone like, "Do you guys, can you tell me openly what you think about myself?" And then everyone was like so open, and I think it was a very, very good moment. I really felt that they are gonna have a good time.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, let's go to our Singapore Cube. So the sponsor there is Hilti, and they prepared a video for us, the introductory video. They prepared it in front of the Singapore Cube, and so we're going to play this right now.
At UD, our main purpose is to outperform the market and stay at the forefront of innovation in the construction industry. For more than 75 years, UD has been providing our customers with solutions, systems that help them improve their efficiency, safety, and sustainability. Digitalization provides us new opportunity to become an intelligent enterprise offering smarter products, customer relationships, and smarter processes. We have already extended our product portfolio offering our digitalized products and software solutions.
We at Global IT, we want to drive innovation at Hilti, and we want to enable the company to provide new value proposition to our customers that addresses their needs. But we don't see the right approach in giving the full responsibility to our senior experts. No, we want to empower the young talents, the young leaders, that they drive innovation and that they turn their ideas into reality. And that's exactly the reason why we decided to sponsor the Incube 2019. As in the real working life at Hilti, we want to motivate our young people to make use of their creativity, of their entrepreneurial spirit, to work on real-world challenges in such a great environment. We choose the location Singapore because one of our overall values at Hilti is diversity. And here in Singapore, together with the ETH in Zurich, we can create such a diverse team with different educational backgrounds and different cultural backgrounds. This environment and this background is a perfect foundation to tackle one of our main challenges in the construction industry. We want to build smart construction sites which are more efficient, more safe and sustainable. And that's the reason why the challenge to 2019 for Hilti as Smart Construction Sites for a Smart Nation. We want to thank the ETH Entrepreneur Club for the amazing organization, and especially we want to thank our students for this great spirit and for the great inspiration over the last days. Thank you.
All right, so that's the Hilti Challenge. So thank you very much to Singapore. So the team who was working there are these people here. Sorry. So, and for them, we will play you the video pitch, which has been already seen by the jury right before this final event, and we're going to show it to you right now.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Ng, and I'm going to tell you how we're going to crush the construction industry today, OmniSite. So OmniSite is in the construction industry, which is worth $17 trillion. But productivity in this industry has fallen over the years, whereas everything else has risen, double and triple actually. Why? Because 63% of direct labor time is spent waiting. For a $100 million project, delays cost $100K a day. That's very painful problem to have, delays. We spoke to Mr. Ong, who's the head contractor at Shibisi Corporation, and his average contract value of his contract is $100 million. He manages 1,000 workers, so he knows this problem very well. So he said, I know I'm losing money every day due to poor worker allocation, but I don't know where and when it's happening. That's a very scary problem. So we asked him, why is it that workers are always waiting? He said they're waiting for materials, equipment, transport, the weather. Then he said last one, new instructions. They were like, that's something that's not true. So we want to help with that. The root cause at the end of the day is infrequent checks on completed tasks of workers by the supervisors. Inconsistency for the same reason in ensuring workers are executing on tasks. And in reality, we only check 8 times a day. What we do on this site, we check 80 times a day. What it really does is real-time allocation of tasks to ensure execution. So what does the user have to do? Mr. Ong or his supervisor will just input and assign tasks for the day, just like in Trello. Very simple. You get to see this view of the whole work job site, see what's going on, who's working, who's not working. And then he receives prompts that just ask him, would you like to move unproductive workers in site A to site B? And then say, here's the impact of the decision, 30% quicker task completion. He says, yes, no, yes, yes, no, yes, it's done. Amazing. You can see everything is going up. Question, how do we do it? Well, we capture and track the job site using our hardware solution. It's a hardware plus software solution. We put these phones, they are third generation, into the safety vests of every worker. And as they go about their day, we have all these images that can combine into a working 3D model of workplace. This in itself is very valuable for a worker or a contractor. But we go beyond that, let them see some insights into how many available workers they have and who is working where. But what's more important than is to see who is working on what. We can check the worker's task execution because we can use activity recognition to see, hey, this is installing a switchboard doing work. We see what the task is supposed to do and what's the completion of this task. And finally, we have the insight view. We can see, we do this for every worker and see who is doing what and where are the risk areas. So it's not good just to know where the risk areas, we want to know what to do. So we recommend new instructions that, as you seen earlier, it's just a problem. Yes or no. The decision is still made by humans at the end of the day because of liability issues. Here's a nice side effect with documentation and therefore accountability because we know who is doing what, when, where, and what they do. Now we have our first customer, Mr. Ong. We're going to pitch this back to him and he said, you can really make this, I will invest in it. I want to use the service. So other people are doing this, but they're not doing the whole chain that we are doing. They're doing individual parts of the process. But Mr. Ong said, I don't want to manage so many software. I want to have an end-to-end solution. And the most important thing we do is we provide insight, smart implementations. The pricing strategy is a software plus hardware thing. So we charge $20,000 a month per 1,000 workers. Just for reference, the budget for supervisors, I think 67 of them is $200,000 a month. So we just charge 10 times less than that. So by comparison, we do 80,000 checks a day. If you were to hire supervisors to do that, it would cost $1 million, but we cost 20,000. market size 20,000 contractors, but what we can really do is 20 contractors that are immediately available for us. The future roadmap is a pilot run with Shimizu, with Mr. Ong helping us to get the deal, and then we'll do Sato Tokyo, which is a bigger construction company, and then we want to go abroad. The team has everything from engineering to AI to business, so we get things done. And the real inspiration at the end of the day was, when you heard all this, you want to know what they're doing, what the weather, what's happening. Oh, it's like a real-time strategy game. You want to play Age of Empires in real life. I think we've done that. Future applications are industries, lots of factories and manufacturing. We are looking for funding, so let's work together to make construction better. Thank you. Woo!
So, the Q&A for the Singapore students has also been done previously before this event, so just to avoid communication issues. So they only could give one answer, so we sent over them the question, a person on site asked the question, and we recorded the answer. First answer counts, so we ensured that everything is fair on that level. So we will play now the answers. So the question that will be repeated, and then there will be the answer. So jury members, you have to assess these answers for them.
All right, let's go. Just take one.
Okay. So first question for Team Omnisite. If other competitors decide to compete in this, how do you protect your market?
Yeah. So the very first site that we are building is a technological moat. And how we do this is by capturing and digitizing the construction site. And every action that we propose to the contractor, when he agrees or he disagrees, we're capturing rich information and the impact of that specific action. So over time, we're building up data that will help build better algorithms over time. So this is, having that historical data will allow us to provide a better service and better suggestions to help improve on-site productivity.
Okay, next question. Allocation to other side. Who gives the orders to more and when?
To move?
Okay. Yeah. Could you repeat the question? So he's definitely referring to this prompt. He's referring to this, and the algorithm will detect. The algorithm will detect when a move is a good time to have a move. But at the end of the day, it's still the supervisor who approves of it. So it's still down to them, but we help them to assist in the decision.
And then once you press approves, a message gets sent out to all the mobile phones of the respective construction workers, and they will then automatically move based on the message. And because we can track the locations, we know whether they are following the command given to them.
Who writes the algorithms based on which insights?
So the algorithms are all based on what is actually happening on the construction site. So each zone is given a score, and each worker is given a score. So currently there is no AI that does the optimizations or a score-based system. So the algorithm finds out underperforming areas, and we restructure the entire construction site so that each worker and each task are optimized perfectly. The AI is used for activity detection and photogrammetry.
30% further task allocation. How is this done?
So for example, if you have 4 people working on a certain task, and you know that they are still understaffed, and you have 3 workers that are not doing anything on another side, by reallocating these 3 workers to help out 4 workers, you can complete this task faster. Instead of the 3 workers idling, and you're losing productivity as opposed to getting faster job completion.
How do you check 80 times per day on worker efficiency?
So a supervisor will walk down to the site normally and just check once an hour, and over 8-hour days, 8 times. We check 80 times by checking once every 5 minutes. So the camera here will switch on and check the activity recognition with respect to the task they are assigned. And that's how we check 80 times a day.
So we see what they're doing in person, and we compare it to the task that was allocated. If there's a mismatch, he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, and he's considered unproductive.
All right, on this side, next question block. how do you incentivize workers to do more tasks? If they are idle, will they earn more or have other incentives?
Yep, so this was one thing that Mr. Ong told us, which was the customer who wanted to pilot with us. He's willing to pay more for productive workers, but the problem he faces is that he cannot identify who are the productive workers. But with our solution, he can, and he's willing to incentivize them with pay upgrades if they can prove their productivity. The problem he's having now is that there is no metric to say how productive they are, and there's no history and accountability of what are the actions they're actually taking and what they're actually doing on site. So we
All right, thank you very much to the Singapore Cube. So now, we have seen already 3 teams, and we get to the final one. And this challenge is stated by Huawei, and Javier is so nice to introduce us to this challenge.
Hi, my name is Javier Picorel, and I work in Huawei, and I'm going to present the challenge of intelligent, connected, and sustainable cities, with a focus on improving the health of people. So first, I would like to talk about Incube, why we decided to sponsor such event. So first, I think it's quite clear that we want to improve the visibility of Huawei in Europe, because when students graduate, they always think about Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, but they don't think in Huawei, which is actually doing literally everything and has a lot of collaborations with ETH and EPFL, for example, professors already. So we want to also reach out to all the students and say, hey, we're actually next to you. And the other thing is about portfolio. If you ask a person in Europe, what is Huawei doing? They will say, oh yeah, the phone company. Actually, Huawei is, let's say, more than 30 years, 31 years old. Let's say that more than 20 of those years hasn't built a single phone, right? So it literally does everything, and currently now it's also doing phones, but it's not what it was originally making. So we want to basically people to approach to us, talk to us, and know that we are actually doing many other things. Things that we actually like about Incube, the things that I personally like because I also participated in last year, is the organization. Things are fairly well organized, and students can actually focus on developing the ideas. Also, I think these students are carefully chosen. I think they're smart. They actually come from different backgrounds, but it's very easy to explain to them, to abstract, and they actually get what we're saying, even on technology stuff that it's not really their background. And also, I think the organization is very professional because they really care about the outcome of the event. I mean, you can see that they really put a lot of effort into make this happen. And last but not least, obviously, that as you can see, they're great ideas, right? Actually, I think they're great ideas for incubation, and obviously, this is what what we are hoping for. Now, a bit of vision of the topic about intelligent cities and more general of the ICT market. Now currently all the world is about data. I mean, the amount of data that we generate is huge. If you actually look at the data that we have generated overall, 90% of that has been generated, believe it or not, in the past 2 years, right? It's impressive. And let's say in 5 years, we're expecting to reach around hundreds of zettabytes, right? And this is like 100 billions of the capacity that you can have in your laptop. So that's kind of really impressive. And a couple of more numbers about how huge is this ICT market, which Huawei is very interested on, is if by 2025, we're going to have more than 16 billion of netizens, basically people using online services. There are going to be a huge amount of smartphones, billions of smartphones, and even more IoT devices, which is basically anything that now is smart, like your watch, your phone, your car, even your fridge, anything you can think of. And the future will be about extracting value out of this data. Well, a few ideas where we think that the avenue of intelligent cities is going to go is essentially trying to improve overall the people's life. And the thing is that cities are very important because they're an economic hub, right? If you do a pie chart where the money goes, whether it's in the cities or outside, you know, most of it going to the cities, so it's a very important market. And a few examples of basically how we can improve people's lives through collecting data is, you know, smart traffic. You know, you have autonomous driving cars and that will basically be able to bring you from point A to point B in a more efficient way. We also have planning of cities. You know, we look at city planning, we look at flow of traffic or even of people, and we can actually make a more efficient distribution of buildings or infrastructure. And also safe city, basically, you know, cameras, image recognition that will actually identify whether there are some bottlenecks or some issues there. And basically what we want to do is to improve people's lives through data. And my last slide is about Huawei in Europe. We're actually really close to you. The first, 19 years ago, we established the first R&D center in Stockholm. And I have to say that currently we are actually opening one in Zurich. And our other closest R&D center is in Munich. And we are actually very happy to have internships, to have students come and intern with us. So if you are interested, contact me or my colleague Min here. She will be very happy to basically talk to you and discuss anything related to that.
So thank you very much, Javier. Thanks
a
lot.
And thank you to the students as well.
All right. Thanks. So now, let's get to the green team. Please come up here on stage. Yes, of course.
Hello, everyone. My name is Grace. 2 years ago, I went through an endless loop of tremendous stress. As students, as workers, you've been pressured through deadlines, competition, and failure. And until I understood what was happening, I was too deep in. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't reach out to anyone. And I guess as humans, we still have a hard time admitting that we're not perfect. We don't want to say that we don't want to appear as weak. So instead of pursuing happiness, I was portraying it. So did Charlotte with me. So did Tom. And probably many of you did that. And we're not alone. 1 in 4 working people in Switzerland suffer from stress. That accounts for 27% of the total workforce. By the time we try to deal with the problem, the measures are already extreme. What if all it took to monitor your stress level was having a bathroom break? That's what we do at Happy. Our solution identifies early signs of stress level to prevent burnout while there's still time. So cortisol is a stress hormone that's vastly present in urine. Our sensor will monitor your stress level, understand your baseline, and notify you when there are great variations.
So basically, our product contains 2 main components. The first one is a UV sensor, which will be placed directly in the toilets of the company. And then the sensor will be able to measure your cortisol concentration in urine. The second component is an app, which you will be able to download on your phone. This app, when you go to the bathroom, will connect directly and wirelessly to the sensor, so that the sensor knows who is the user, which is actually going to the bathroom. Oops, sorry. By collecting data over some period of time, we're going to be able, for each employee which is using this app, we're going to be able to determine a baseline level for your stress level. And with this baseline, we're going to measure the variations around this baseline. And with this, we're going to be able to tell you what is your stress level. And from there, we're going to give you personalized tips, assistance on how to improve your mental health. Meet Livia. She's a consultant. She has a bunch of deadlines coming. She's under heavy pressure. The stress is rising. How can she measure her stress level? How can she know where she's at? It's simple. She simply has to go to the bathroom, take a break, and take her phone with her. But I mean, we all do that already, right? And then you simply have to take your app and look at your stress level, which will be directly sent to your app. So now that we've talked about the users, let's look at consumers. There is a huge market. There's a huge demand. In Switzerland, stress costs 6.5 billion a year to companies. Our first consumer are mostly going to be tech companies, as up to 70% of employees are under heavy psychological stress. Furthermore, these companies already invest around $1,000 a year for the mental well-being of their employees. So how would it all come together? Basically, we will finance this by charging these companies a monthly fee or a yearly fee, which will depend on the size of the company and the number of employees. And as a service, in exchange, we will give them anonymous, aggregated data from departments of the company, so that the company will be able to take actions, but at a company level.
Now, how do we stand out from the competition?
Sorry.
Hello, welcome to our...
Or let's continue.
Hey guys.
Hey,
It's
Momo.
disconnected.
This doesn't work. Can you click for her?
So how do we stand out from competition? It's really self-explanatory. Our process is easy. I literally cannot think of anything easier than to pee right now. Effortless, it's meaningful, and most importantly, it's personalized. It's for Agnes, it's for Tom, it's your body telling you how stressed you are. Now, I am happy to present you our happy team, which is a mix of technical and business background. For the first time, we bring science to the burnout discussion at work. Our mission is to change the narrative about mental health. Admitting and dealing with our problems do not make us weak. It makes us brave. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's continue. All right. Who has the first question?
Thank you for a very spirited presentation. In the Western world, privacy concerns may be quite substantial. So what do you tell companies that don't want to be seen as monitoring something quite intimate about their employees?
So when an employee goes to the toilet, all the information that's taken by the sensors is encrypted and processed in data centers that's owned to us, not to the companies. So first of all, the employee knows that their boss will not know on their individual informations. And at the same time, we give anonymous and aggregate data per department to the company so that they can get an insight from how their employees are stressed. But this information is encrypted in our servers, and the company needs a key in order to get insight from the data. So this is how we manage the data privately.
And most importantly, we do not collect data without individual consent. So even if we have a company who is our client, we cannot collect data from employees who have not signed a consent form.
Who has another question? All right, thanks.
Okay, I like the logo and the name, so you should do it for that. So really, but I think, and there's also the link from stress that it's well-being, a very good link there. And so my question is, did you also consider ecosystems to sell basically your data? You have if you overcome the obstacles that we heard right now about privacy and so on, you have very sensitive data that you could use, for example, health insurance companies and so on. So did you also consider opening up?
We mostly considered partnering with companies who are already in the business of vital signs and collecting health data, but in the way that we would provide them with an additional component with it, which is urine. So they would have this additional service, but we do not think of us partnering with insurance healthcare, or at least it's not on the table right now, I think.
Thank you very much. Why urine, I would ask. Going back to the other, my question to the other group also, there's so many ways to measure stress, which are less intrusive, I would say. For instance, galvanic skin response, heart rate, facial expression, pupil dilation, so much more, which would also allow measuring in real time and giving real-time feedback information.
So we actually thought about a lot of different ways to do it, and we decided to go in this direction because cortisol is a hormone that you have in your body, and which is really highly correlated with stress. And even this hormone itself can be measured in different ways. For example, you can measure it through sweat, but measuring it through sweat would imply wearing a wearable, which is a how to say, uncomfortable. Like it's an extra effort that you have to put in order to get this data. While if you take it direct from urine, like the concentration of cortisol in urine are very high with sweat. It's the two places where you find the most cortisol. And urine is something that you have in large quantity, which is highly available, and it doesn't ask you any other effort. And concerning, for example, facial expression, we also thought about going into AI, computer vision, and etc. But that would imply employees to go somewhere and get filmed or get pictures of themselves while going through, for example, a psychological questionnaire or through something like that. And we asked a lot of people on the street, and very few people were feeling comfortable with something like that. And they felt like it was even more invasive as urine.
Thank you very much. Thanks to the Huawei team.
Okay, so these were our 4 challenges crafted by our 4 teams across the globe over these 4 days. The jury members have now evaluated the questions. All the grading sheets will now go to the back office, and we will compute the final score. And in the meantime, I would like to show you some Incube highlights, what the cubies experienced in the glass cubes, maybe a bit aside from the work on the maybe a bit aside of the work, of the specific work on the challenge. So, usually, part of the Incube challenge are the so-called qubits mini challenges, where we let them take, for example, funny pictures, just a bit to loosen up their hair and to think about other ideas, right? Okay, so another qubit challenge would be photo bingo. So one of the set of pictures, the series of pictures they had to take was about, looking smart, right? And that's the outcome when you give them that task. So it can be about math, some smart pie charts, and yep. So these students had fun. Another photo bingo challenge was that they had to show or imagine on how they would look like as a participant living in 2030. Another challenge, or photo bingo, was to take a picture of the cube at the sunset. And they also required to take pictures of tidy cubes, right? Another challenge was to take a picture of the cube as far as possible, but still such that the cube is actually in the picture, right? And so that's what turned out. So for example, the Schiffbau cube went up to Prime Tower, or the others went far away across the river from Europaallee, And so these are, you can see these are always, we try to also give them some, we try to distract them from time to time also a bit so that they can generate new ideas. So, the prices we will distribute, are much better than cash prices, right? So we are not going to pay 10K in cash, no. So the winning team of the Incube Challenge 2019, they will get conference tickets, including expenses, meaning accommodation, food, etc., with a total value of 10,000 Swiss francs. We want them to incentivize to continue to work on their concept or on their idea, which they crafted. So, now, the big question is, all of the teams did a fantastic job. I'm super excited, actually, to see all these solutions. So, creativity was definitely not a lack in these teams. And so, I'm actually seeing now the winning team here, right here. And the winner of the Incube Challenge 2019
is Hilti.
Team Singapore. Congratulations.
So, congratulations on this prize. We actually also have a placard in Singapore. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
So actually,
okay. So this is exactly the reason why we record the pitches, right? So congratulations to Singapore.
Yeah. All right, so actually, but we all know that not only Singapore's are winners, you all are winners. And please come up here on stage. We also have a small gift for you as well, which we showcase now. Come up here. Let's go. Okay.
He's cheering.
Single screen.
So thank you very much for participating. It was really cool.
So they're excited, right? We can definitely see that. Cool. All right, so we're coming to an end of this event. Let's keep on double screen, that's fine here as well. So the Cube sponsors, again, a big thank you to have made all this possible, right? This is not a cheap event. Dedicated thanks to Oxbow, Huawei, PMI Science, and Hilti. Thank you so much. So in order to make this possible, we also had many different other partners, especially in-kind partners. So for example, we had Hertz for the cars, to do all the logistics in the city, especially in Zurich, or also to drive to Grand Montana. Memox, who furnished all the whiteboards and design material in the cubes. Montana, the Associated Commune, and the Economic Promotion, who supported us for the workshops in Montana. Then Kessler, who supported us for insurances, Logitech with cameras, Aspar with food. The Cube at Schiffbau was only possible through the great collaboration with the Digital Festival. The MIT Innovation Initiative, which is our partner at MIT and makes this challenge possible also, or accessible to MIT students. Innovation Time and Innovation Club, the Innovation Club in Fribourg in Western Switzerland. And last but not least, also the fantastic work of the ETH Singapore Center, who helped us a lot to actually expand to Singapore this year.
We certainly also want to thank our club sponsors, our premium sponsor, Huawei, our legal partner, Walter Wies, and of course also to our standard sponsors, UBS and Startup Campus. I personally also want to thank Arno, the whole committee, and also the people involved in this huge project to make this unique event even possible. So thank you very much.
So yeah, also definitely from my side, a big thanks to all sponsors, organizers, the entire team of the ETH Entrepreneur Club. It's a great honor to take the lead of this project this year. I feel very passionate about it, and people know it. And so we're at the end of the Incube Challenge 2019. Let's hope that the students are inspired to continue their ideas. I'm super excited by what you did, so congratulations to you all. For the logistics part now, we will take some pictures with the teams, with the sponsors, and I would also like to please to ask the jury members to stay here and to give them feedback and to have further discussions with the different teams, and maybe also together with the sponsors. For all the others and also for us afterwards, there will be an apéro ready outside, so free food. Enjoy the evening. Thank you very much for coming, and have a good night.